Hey, what's up, everybody? Dude here. Hey, this week reinforced something that I probably already knew, but the goal here is not weight loss. The goal here is resiliency. I think the whole secret to weight loss is resiliency. And it's actually one of the secrets to success in life in general. We're going to dive into that today, but before we get into that, I just want to cover in. Today was week 8 weigh-in. So let's just go back to the scale. I'm going to insert that graphic right here. And basically, you can see last Monday, I was 237.2. And then fast forward to today, 235.7. That is a net weight loss of 1.5 pounds. So I'm happy with that. Especially if you follow along these videos, you know that this weekend we had back-to-back weddings on Saturday. I was kind of out of my element, didn't have a lot of great options, so I kind of went with the flow. And 1.5 this week, I'll take it. I'm still down, and the weekend just kind of floated, but I didn't gain over the weekend. I think I had lost that 1.5 probably by Thursday when I did my 60-day weigh-in. But no more big milestone this week, so we got another full week ahead of us, and we can just keep plowing forward. So what I want to do is I want to get into my thoughts for today. And I'm in the car doing a car video because super windy outside, and there's no way the audio is going to work out there. So I'll go out and I'll hit a walk probably later tonight. I'm going to do a lower body workout. I may do it at home because it's so dang windy. I may not do it at the park. But anyway, that's my accountability. That's what I'm doing, lower body workout and a walk. And I'll go home and make dinner. So, but resiliency, I want to get into this. Oh man, it's kind of been driving me crazy lately. I'm one of those kind of guys where if I used to have a day off, or a bad day, an unplanned day, even sometimes a free meal or something like that, I could get thrown off track, man. I could, you travel out of town and go to Disneyland, go do something, and I could just go boom. And the problem is I not only get off for a day, but a day could turn into a week could turn into a month could turn into 6 months. And what I'm finding this time around, I'm trying to change my mindset. I'm trying to not have an all or nothing mindset. I'm very, very much all or nothing. It's like I'm either like laser focused, I'm doing that keto, or I'm doing that carnivore diet, or I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing. Years and years and years ago when I won that workout thing, it was like, I was eating 6 meals a day balanced with a protein and a carb, and man, I didn't miss. I was like dialed in for 18 weeks, but then there was an ending. And then as soon as I figured like, hey, it's over, I won this competition, little thing's over, and I was off. And when I get off, I could not get back started again. It was super, super hard. And so what I found over the last several years, trying different diets, different approaches, different workout plans, any of it works. Okay? Like, you do not need to be dogmatic about how you eat, how you exercise, but what you do have to do is you have to pick something and you have to stick to it. And then when life goes the way life goes, and something like this weekend happens, I had a family event Saturday morning. Had one of my good friends' daughters got married Saturday afternoon. Went to the ceremony. Was not even aware that they were serving dinner after that. It was catered by Panda Express, and I'd already bought lunch for everyone for the family event. And we ended up going to a pizza place. Had a couple salads. Ate a couple small pieces of pizza. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here I am. I'm just here. Even the salad bar really wasn't great. I was not really making a keto salad with what they had there. And so I had a couple salads, had a couple small pieces of pizza, then went to this wedding and was like, oh my gosh, now they got Panda Express. I ate a small plate and then came home, didn't get home till late at night. And I was just like, well, there goes Saturday. It's done. And I'm like, okay, the key for me right now is I got to bounce back. I got to get right back on track. I got to be resilient. I cannot let this derail me. So Sunday, if you watched yesterday's video, I had a ribeye, had some chicken thighs, had some electrolytes to drink in the afternoon, and basically just got right back on it. Weighed in this morning, didn't lose any more weight from my 60-day weigh-in on Thursday, but I also didn't gain any, or if I did gain any, it was already gone. So the bottom line is, that little water weight fluctuation didn't happen this week, and I still am down 1.5 pounds. And I think one of the keys is it's not about perfection. Man, I used to be so driven by trying to do it accurately and trying to do it perfectly. That's just not a necessity, You do have to stick to it, though. And when something goes wrong, you've got to bounce back. There's an old saying in business. I learned this lesson a long time ago, and it's fail fast. If you're an entrepreneur and you're starting let's say you got an idea and you want to start a lemonade stand or whatever little company you got, right? Bottom line is you try out your idea, and, if it doesn't work, you don't keep trying to put a, square peg in a round hole. If it's going to fail, let it fail fast. Don't drag it out for 6 months or a year until all your funds are depleted, until your startup capital is gone or whatever. If it's going to fail, let it fail fast and get out. Get a new idea, start something else. And sometimes it's you fail, and bam, you succeed. But in weight loss, I think it's the same thing. We get off track, and then it's boom, we're off track for a month, or boom, we're off track for 6 months. And some of us get off track for years. And you finally get the motivation. And I think the difference between winners and losers is, losers get off track for 6 months and just finally find the motivation to get started again. And we've all been there. We've all done it, right? You get off track, and it's easy to just give up and quit for 6 months and then go, okay, now I'm kind of fat. I really need to start doing something about it again. But that's not drive. That's not ambition. That's not taking control of your life. Winners get off track for a day and they go, all right, well, that was a day. I'm back on tomorrow. And the difference is they get right back on tomorrow. And that's what I'm trying to do this time. I'm not trying to be perfect. There's going to be some little bumps in the road. There's going to be some unplanned meals. And then there's going to be sometimes where something pops up where it's just like, okay, here I am, dude. I was not planning this, but it happened. And the key is that you're resilient. You bounce right back. You fail quick, you get right back on the plan, and boom, you're on your path to success. It could be the same thing for depression, for negative thinking, for the same principle applies in almost every aspect of our life. Life could happen and you can get depressed about it, and it could derail you for years. I've seen it happen in people's lives. The key is turning those times, those life events, or those negative spirals that we get in our head, and turning those in from months to weeks to days to hours to minutes to, I had a few fleeting thoughts, and get that crap out of my head. I'm right back on. You know what I mean? And you can do that. It's a learned behavior. It's a trained behavior. So I think when you apply that kind of mentality to weight loss, is it's not so much about the weight loss. Yes, you have to exercise and eat right. What that is for you, I don't know. I see people arguing in my comment section all the time about, different types of weight loss and diets and blah, 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 blah. You know what? I've said this since day one. You can go back to one of my very first videos. The best weight loss program or diet or whatever is the one that you can stick with. And what you can stick with is probably different than what I can stick with. I've done a balanced whole food diet with a balanced protein and a carb 6 times a day. Not sustainable for me. The food prep wasn't sustainable. I've done carnivore. Love it. I like eating meat. I like the way I feel. I like no bloating, no carb, no whatever. Still, I get a little bit burnt out on it. About 30 days is about where my limit is before I, start trying to waver. Keto, I find I do much better. I can still be protein heavy. I can still get a lot of good fats, eat some vegetables. And guess what? I feel good. I lose weight. My body burns the fat. It gets into ketosis. And that seems to be what works well for me. Like I said, you could be a vegan. You could do whole food, plant-based. There's a lot of different things you can do. And depending on what your goal is, I would tell you whether that's probably the best for you or not. If your goal is weight loss, right now my goal is weight loss. That's it. And there's a lot of things that work. And whether you get out there and enjoy walking, whether you enjoy swimming, cycling, hiking, backpacking, rock climbing, snowboarding, lifting weights, rowing, whatever. And sometimes you're at the, your options are limited based on what you have or what you can afford. You don't have to go out and buy an expensive rowing machine. You can go on a walk. It works. Go burn some calories. Get yourself in a calorie deficit. You're going to lose weight. It doesn't really matter how you get there. The difference between most of these diets is just whatever it makes it enjoyable for you to get there. And I promise you, when you lose 50 pounds, 75 pounds, 100 pounds, you get down toward your goal, all your health biomarkers are going to be better. You're going to be doing so much better than when you're 100 pounds overweight. And that's the mentality that I'm going with. But I think one of the things I've learned, I've already proven it like 4 times in this first 8 weeks, and that is, if you get off track for a day or so, don't beat yourself up. Do not beat yourself up. Life happens. I don't know one single person that's perfect. Do you? As far as I know, there's only been one perfect person to walk this earth. And it certainly isn't one of us. So I would tell you this. Stop beating yourself up. I had a day like Saturday. I don't feel bad about it. I don't beat myself up. I wake up Sunday morning and I go, okay, time to get right back on path. We're not wasting the rest of the progress that we got this week. And then boom, not a massive week, 1.5. So I think one of the biggest keys between winning and losing in weight loss is you got to change the mindset of, I don't have to be perfect. I got to focus on progress, that's for sure. But I'm not training perfection. I'm training resiliency. Does that make sense? I remember that old song, I get knocked down and I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. Boy, when I was in sales, quick story time. When I was in sales back in the late 90s, I remember doing phone sales, just brutal, business to business, corporate sales, calling vice presidents, human resource directors, training directors, selling training and development materials about leadership and management effectiveness. And oh boy, we got our lunch eaten. And I remember that song was popular back then. And it became one of my mantras. I get knocked down and I get up again. And I would dial and I'd get my butt kicked. And boom, I get knocked down, I get up again. And I would just boom, 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 boom about being resilient and just going next. Who cares? Next. And then bam, land a sale. And most of those sales would happen in 10 to 15 minutes over the phone for a few $1,000s, where corporate guys gave me their credit card. It was actually a pretty amazing feat that we accomplished and got really good at over time. But in the beginning, it was brutal. And one of the things I had playing in my head all the time was that mantra of, I get knocked down and I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. I think that applies 100% wholeheartedly to this message or this lesson or this thought process that I'm having right now today. And it applies to weight loss 100%. You have a bad day, doesn't matter. You get knocked down. You get right back up, you dust yourself off, and you get right back after it. And again, you don't train fitness, you don't train diet, you don't train weight loss, you train resiliency. And the end result, you still take all the daily action items of eating right, exercising, whatever. But when you make those mistakes and you've trained yourself to bounce back and be resilient, you don't fail. You can't fail because you just keep going. And you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you persist until you succeed. And folks, that is my message today. Only 1.5 this week, but I'm still going strong, still taking the daily action items, and I have a setback here and there, and you get right back on it. And that's the message and the lesson that I'm taking with me this time around as we start week 9. I think I'm going to add some creatine into my supplement. I have not been doing that. So for this next 8 weeks, I think I'm going to add 5 grams of creatine. That's 1 serving of creatine monohydrate. And I am going with the Creapure, manufactured in Germany. Several different brands carry the same thing from Germany. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go home, make dinner, hit my workouts tonight, and Hope you got something out of this today, and I appreciate you being here. Leave a note down in the comments. I know you've hit some setbacks, but you've also rebounded and got back on it. And maybe if you haven't, that's the lesson for you to take today. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Get right back and start doing it again today, now. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Dude, out.